They taught you to react, to wait, to observe, to measure twice before daring to speak once, to watch the world pass like scenery through a train window and call it wisdom, not the reaction to your past. And while you hesitated, someone else, with less talent, less education, less potential, acted. Not the echo of other people's opinions. You were created to be the cause, the originating spark, the prime mover, the one who speaks and sees the world bend to match the sound of their conviction. And in their action, they claimed what you thought you deserved. The phone in your hand, the building you're in, the lights above you, all of it came from someone who decided to cause reality, not wait for it. They weren't reacting. They were creating. You were never meant to be the effect. You were not born to be the result of your environment. It's something you happen to. You are not here to be shaped. You are here to shape. Look around you. Everything you see was once invisible. And so must you. Wallace D. Wattles wrote, "Thought is the only power which can produce tangible riches from the formless substance." Your dominant thoughts today are the clay of your life tomorrow. They inherit them from family, from the media, from a broken school system that teaches obedience, not originality. In simpler terms, nothing becomes real until someone thinks it's so. Because life is not something that happens to you. Until you understand that, you will live at the mercy of causes you did not initiate, a drifting leaf in the wind of other people as thoughts, fears, and agendas, like steel shaped in fire. Thinking, in this sense, is the hammer that strikes the bell of the universe and causes vibration. But if you train your mind to cause reality through chosen thought, chosen belief, chosen focus, you become dangerous. But the moment you decide, the instant you become conscious of your power to initiate, everything changes. This world honors one kind of person above all others, not the observer, not the analyst, not even the genius. The initiator. Belief that, when spoken, makes others believe too, not because they understand, but because they feel something too deep to name. The same is true for life itself. The one who says, "Let there be light," and acts even when the room is still pitch black. Mind is first, focused, clear. It's not the mind wandering. It's the mind forging. Before every machine, every company, every invention, there was thought. But thinking is not idle daydreaming. Thinking, real thinking, is disciplined. What are you thinking right now? Because it matters. And yet, most people never choose their thoughts. If you do not choose your thoughts, someone else will. This is not metaphor, it's mechanics. You think with certainty, you speak with conviction, and the world begins to reflect what you believe, not what you wish, not what you doubt, but what you believe with absolute intensity. This is why belief is power, not the fluffy, motivational kind. Not believe in yourself like a slogan on a coffee mug. I mean belief that builds cities, belief that bends iron. Wattles said, "You can never get rich or start the creative power into action by sending out uniform thoughts of poverty. If you think in limitation, you will live in chains. You become a creator. Clarity is not a luxury, it is survival. If you do not define your vision, someone will sell you theirs." There are two types of people walking this earth: those who know where they're going, and those who wander into someone else's plan. Clarity is not just having a goal. It is knowing exactly why you are alive, what you are building, what you will refuse to die without completing. Disney saw a kingdom of magic before he had land. Edison saw light when others saw darkness. Carnegie saw an empire of steel while others thought trains were enough. These men lived in the clarity of vision before the world could see it. Because the world is always late, it always believes last. It only praises after the fact. And if you wait for validation, you will expire before your mission begins. It is clarity. Clarity is what allows you to wake with fire, to endure failure, to ignore ridicule. It is not confidence that makes you move forward. Confidence is a mood. Clarity is a force. A man with clarity will move mountains. A man without it will become one. So don't ask what's possible. Ask what's clear. Don't chase what excites you. Pursue what burns within you. Your inner world is the blueprint. Life cannot build what you do not design. The blueprint must come first. That which is clearly held in mind becomes magnetized in matter. And once it's clear, the universe begins to conspire. Not magically, not mystically, but mechanically. Because focus and energy attract structure. But clarity without purpose is like a loaded gun with no target. Because achievement without alignment is a slow death in golden chains. Purpose is remembered, uncovered, like a statue beneath stone. But you buried it beneath the weight of fear, of doubt, of what will they think. Purpose is the force that turns vision into destiny. Without it, men become successful in all the wrong ways, rich but restless, admired but empty, famous but unfulfilled. Purpose gives your pain meaning. It gives your fear direction. It turns obstacles into fuel. You no longer wait for doors, you build them. You no longer hope for a better future, you author it. The man who knows why will always outlast the man who merely knows how. And here is the truth you must swallow whole. You do not need permission to live with purpose. What happens when the fire dims and the applause dies, and you are left with nothing but your own shadow? You were born with it. Purpose is not assigned by society. It is not given by parents. It is not granted by degrees or titles. You already know what you're meant for. You've always known. The cause creates rhythm, and rhythm creates result. Dig it up, dust it off, speak it aloud. Because once you declare it, without apology, the world begins to make room for it. And in that moment, you are no longer an effect. You are the cause. He is a certainty. Devotion to the man or woman you swore you'd become. It is faith expressed through repetition. It is love expressed through structure. You have moved from observer to originator, from responder to reality maker. He held it through iron consistency, in values, in action, in moral force. Discipline is the fire that purifies your purpose, a life that could have been. The man who builds a pyramid doesn't do it with passion. He does it with order. Everyone is excited on day one. Everyone is passionate when it's new. But what happens on day 97? Lincoln didn't hold a nation together through speeches. That's where most people vanish, swallowed by comfort, eaten by distraction. But not you, because the cause does not wait for motivation. Discipline is not punishment, it is devotion. Devotion to the vision you said was yours. Every day you do the work, even when you don't feel like it. You are engraving belief into the universe. Ford didn't build cars when he was inspired. He built them until the world moved. Don't confuse chaos with creativity. Don't confuse activity with movement. One block, one brick, one stroke of the hammer. The world calls this obsession. The wise call it alignment. And if you do not align your time, your energy, your sleep, your food, your mind with your cause, you will become a wandering possibility. But the disciplined man is not a possibility. Action is the fingerprint of belief. You can speak vision. You can feel purpose, but until you move, none of it exists. Faith without works is dead. Vision without execution is hallucination. There is a physics to destiny, and that physics demands motion. You cannot think your way into greatness. You must move. Take the step, make the call, hit record, build the site, write the book, launch the idea. You must initiate, even if the board is dark, because the act of moving reveals the path. They acted, they failed, then they flew. Start now, not when you're ready, because the cause doesn't wait for perfection. The cause creates momentum, because they believed it was possible, and they proved it through action. You don't need the whole map, you need the next move. Life is a chessboard, and hesitation is death. The Wright brothers didn't wait for consensus. You are the authority you've been looking for. Your action today is the prayer the universe answers. Stop waiting to be chosen. Stop waiting for signs. You are the sign. You are the permission slip. Move. Move as if your future depends on it, because it does. It aligns you with what is working, what is possible, what is real. And what you appreciate, appreciates. Gratitude is the engine oil of creation. You cannot attract from a place of lack. You cannot expand from a mindset of complaint. The man who is bitter cannot build. The man who is jealous cannot rise. Gratitude is respect for life itself, for this moment, for this chance. Gratitude is not some spiritual accessory. It is the voltage of creation. Give thanks not because it's perfect, but because you are here, awake, aware, alive. It multiplies. It magnetizes. It opens the flow. Because gratitude creates more to be grateful for. You want to be the cause? Then honor what you've already caused. Gratitude isn't passive, it's powerful. He built empires from ore. You already have more than he did. It's not saying thank you. It's recognizing the raw material you already hold in your hands and choosing to see it as enough to start the fire. Carnegie began with nothing, but he was grateful for coal and steel. Tesla was grateful for the thunderstorm. He turned it into light. The man who starts with thanks ends with victory. You cannot receive what you do not respect. Even if you are broke, even if you are tired, even if you are unknown, give thanks. And still able to cause the next chapter. Adaptability is the weapon of the wise. The man who cannot bend will break. Life will test you. It will challenge every assumption, every plan, every timeline you thought was sacred. You will be betrayed. You will be mocked. You will be misunderstood. And that's exactly how it's supposed to be. Because pressure reveals who you are. Resistance strengthens the spine. Obstacles refine the mission. And adversity. It's the one that bends with the wind and rises again stronger. That's your graduation ceremony. Edison tried 1,000 filaments until the light stayed on. You must adjust without abandoning. Pivot without quitting. Evolve without losing essence. The cause is not rigid. It evolves. It shifts. It transforms. If a storm hits the shore, the tree that survives is not the one that stands stiff. Wield it. Your adaptability is not weakness, it is strategy. Before they convinced you to measure your worth by what didn't work, a feedback system. Every delay, long before you could speak, you were falling and standing and falling again. And in staying, he rewrote the future of a nation. And never once did you think, maybe walking isn't for me. And making the most of yourself means walking through the fire, not avoiding it. A recalibration, every detour, a new map to refine your instincts, a receipt of passage, a reminder, you were there, you lived, you continued. Lincoln changed generals until he found one who would win. There is no straight line to greatness. There is only forward. Every failure, he taught himself how to run an empire from dusty ledgers and library books. Study Napoleon Hill. He sat with titans, transcribed their minds, and distilled philosophies that shaped centuries. Don't curse the resistance. Learn from it. Don't fear change. The man who stays teachable evolves. Because the cause is not a statue, it's a living flame. And flames move with the wind, not against it. But the cause is always curious. The cause never stops asking, what else can I become? Resilience is your divine inheritance. It is not found in textbooks, but it is etched into your bones. You were built to endure. You were wired to rise. It is not taught in schools. How did they rise when the world said no? That was resilience before the world taught you fear. Before they told you failure meant shame. Before they made you believe setbacks were permanent. Staying when the numbers drop. Staying when the voice inside screams, quit. Let me say this clearly. Resilience is not about strength. It's about staying. Staying when the applause stops. Because the man who stays becomes the man who breaks through. Do you think Lincoln didn't want to quit? That man lost more elections than most people ever enter, but he stayed. Wattles said, the very best thing you can do for the whole world is to make the most of yourself. You cannot be the cause if you flee at the first wound. The cause bleeds, the cause falls, but it gets up again and again with scars that speak louder than sermons. Because every scar is a signature of resilience. Let the world see your scars. They are proof you refuse to die in the valley. Learning is the fuel of the next evolution. You don't need more answers. You need better questions. Most people stop learning when school ends. You must become a student of reality. Study the greats, not to copy, but to decode. How did they think? How did they act? Study Carnegie. The man who stops learning stagnates. Your next breakthrough won't to come from another dopamine hit or algorithm update. It will come from an idea, a perspective, a shift in the way you see the game. Not like a consumer, but like a hunter, looking for one insight that can pierce the veil of your old limitations. And that shift will only come if you stay open. Read, listen, observe, because ideas are weapons. And the right idea, applied at the right time, can turn a broken man into a legend. Power does not come from position, it comes from alignment. Alignment is when what you think, what you feel, what you say, and what you do are one force. No fragmentation, no dissonance, no internal civil war. Most people live split, saying one thing, thinking another, acting in contradiction to both. But the man who aligns becomes a weapon, not of destruction, but of direction. He no longer negotiates with mediocrity. He moves through it like wind through a canyon. He moves with a clarity that cuts. He speaks with a frequency that commands. The aligned man does not seek approval. He becomes the standard. Because power is not loud, it is not boastful. It does not need to be seen to be real. The kind that shifts energy because the man himself is energy, concentrated, uncluttered, clean. True power is silent certainty, the kind you feel in the room before a word is spoken. You want to be the cause with the thought in your mind, with the word in your mouth, with the act in your hand, then align. Start now, make them one, and you will become unstoppable. And now, we arrive. Not after another excuse. Not after the timing is right or the doubts disappear. Now, right now. This is the line. The divide between who you were and who you must become. I am not here to watch. I am here to shape. Not at the end, because there is no end, but at the moment. This moment, not tomorrow. You are standing at the edge of two lives, the life of the effect and the life of the cause. A current that was always waiting to be unleashed. One leads to shadows, to regrets, to reaction, to being molded by forces you never chose. The other leads to legacy, to becoming a first cause, a builder, a maker of new realities. Which one do you want to wake up inside of? But deep down, you felt it. The hunger, the tension, the inner rebellion that says, you've been told your whole life to adjust, to fit in, to comply, to react. No, so shape it. Shape the hour. Shape the habit. Shape the outcome. Speak what you mean. A click. Do what you say. Think what you believe. Act as if your very breath changes things, because it does. The cause is not just an idea. It's you. And the moment you decide, fully, deeply, unapologetically, you will feel it. A shift. And when that happens, you'll no longer chase life. You'll cause it.